so this is my right renal artery. Okay? Okay. I have to feed it. Now I have to drain it. It's going to drain into my IVC. So we'll do this one first. The right renal artery is always superior, posterior to the renal vein. So this is the left renal vein. Okay? The renal artery is superior, posterior to that. Okay? So let me find something. Okay, I'm going to use your water. Okay. Here's my kidney. Here is my renal artery. Okay? It's going to be posterior and superior to the renal vein. Okay? Posterior and superior to the renal vein.
Is it safe to say that most the arteries always tend to be superior to the vein?
They're either superior or medial to the vein. Okay? And that's considering the legs. Okay? That's considering the arms. Okay? That's considering what else? The carotids. Because my jugular is going to be lateral posterior to the carotids. Okay? So what's going to happen to my renal vein here? This one's going to be a little bit off. So here's my renal vein. It's going to go over the IVC, and this is my right renal vein. It's going to be over the aorta. What's up here? It's going to be on top of the renal vein. What is that?
SMA.
SMA. Okay? This is on the registry. You have to get it. Okay? Oh, so let me go back. Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's my which side is this? My left or my right?
Left. Right.
It's my right kidney. So this is my right renal artery. This is my right renal vein. The renal artery is superior and posterior to the vein. The vein is anterior, inferior to the artery. Okay? Okay, is this that's a highlighter, I can't use that. Okay. Okay, does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Right renal artery. Right renal artery is superior, posterior to right renal vein. Right renal vein is anterior, inferior to right renal artery. Okay? Same thing with the left renal. Okay? Left renal. Okay. The left renal vein is anterior to aorta, posterior to SMA. The right renal artery is posterior to the IVC. Some of you learn by drawing, some of you learn by doing lists. Okay? Me, I have to draw it and visualize it in my head. Because I'm a sonographer, I never guess the anatomy. Okay? I never guess the anatomy. If they want to see the right renal vein, I either show it coming off of the aorta, the IVC, or I show it going into or draining out of the kidney. You have to show the beginning or the end. You never pick just a piece. Okay. Protocol. Transverse. Superior, just cortex. Transverse mid. You want to see the hilum. You want to make it as round. You want just as much kidney on the top of your measurement as you do on the bottom of your measurement. So transverse mid, with and without measurements, with and without color. Inferior, transverse right kidney, inferior, just cortex. Okay? Because this is the cortex and this is the medulla. Okay? Cortex and medulla. Okay? Cortex and the medulla. Sagittal. Medial. With and without color. You want to see the hilum. Sagittal midline. With and without measurements. It has to be over 9 centimeters. Under 12 centimeters. If the measurements don't match up, and I can't remember if it's 1.5 or 2 centimeters difference between the two kidneys, it's the smaller kidney that's sick. Okay? It's the smaller kidney that is sick. Lateral. I'm just going to get cortex. I don't want to see any part of the pelvis. Okay. What we don't see in the kidneys are the nephrons. The nephrons, and there's jillions of them. They're all in the cortex. Okay? That is what makes our urine. Blood goes in, blood comes out. The blood that goes in, the kidney does whatever it needs to do. It takes any nutrients it can use, and it gets rid of the waste. And the waste is our pee-pee. Okay? So, okay. And we also have ureters. Ureters drain the kidneys. The ureters drain into posterior, inferior bladder. Okay? Posterior, inferior bladder. And that area where they drain is called the trigon. So, if we can't find a kidney, we're going to go and we're going to put color at the trigon area, and we're going to look and see if we have jets that come out of the bladder. If you don't have a jet, you're missing a kidney. If you have 2 jets, you missed the kidney. Okay? Got it? Now, This is the urethra. The urethra drains the bladder. Okay? Inside the kidney, you have, I'm not very good at this. Okay. All of this is cortex. All of this is the renal pelvis, or the proper names is that you have minor calyces, and major calyces. Okay? You have minor calyces and major calyces. This collects the urine, because these here are called the renal papilla. This whole thing is called the pyramid. The tip of it, or the apex of it, is called the papilla. The papilla drains into the minor calyces. The minor calyces drain into the major calyces. The major calyces drain into the ureter. The ureter drains into the bladder. The bladder drains into the toilet. Okay? Okay. So the kidneys are located in what space?
Posterior wall, posterior abdominal wall.
Yeah, what is that called? It's called retroperitoneal. Remember, the peritoneum is my Ziploc bag and it holds all of my organs? Well, these aren't protected by a bag. They're in the retro, meaning behind the Ziploc bag. Okay? So that means my ureters are also, part of them are going to be retroperitoneal and some of them are going to be peritoneal. Means behind the peritoneum. We have two of them. We have two ureters, one bladder, one urethra. But God is great. We can have more. Okay? We can have more. So, there are 3 things that protect the kidney. 3 things. You have a true capsule. You have peritoneal fat, perirenal fats, and you have gerotis. Okay? When you go up on the floors and do renal biopsies, you can actually hear the needle pop through this true capsule. Okay? Who has cleaned a chicken? Okay? When you clean the chicken and you look at the gallbladder, how it has that capsule around the gallbladder, or the gizzard, they call it. Same thing with the kidney. It actually has a capsule. It's a membrane that you can hardly even take off of it. Okay? So adipose tissue is just what? Just fat. Adipose is just fat. I probably have a lot of fat around my kidneys. Okay? And then you have Gerota's capsule or Gerota's fascia. Those are the three things that protect the kidney. Football players. Football players can damage their kidneys, or boxers. Isn't it against the rule to hit above the waist for boxers?
Right.
That's why. They have to protect their kidneys. Their kidneys only have those three things for protecting them besides the muscle. And when you tighten up your belly, you know, I don't know anything about the back muscles, but you know, you've got, those boxers have to be prepared. And if you're getting hit from behind, you know, it's gonna damage your kidneys. Okay, where did I leave my doohickey? Oh, here it is. Okay. Renal artery. Superior, posterior to the renal vein. Renal vein. Anterior, inferior to the renal artery. The ureter. We're going to go backwards now. What's down here? The bladder. Okay. Bladder, ureter, pelvis, major and minor calyces, pyramid. This is the apex. And inside the cortex, that's where all the nephrons are. Jillions of them. Okay? Because we're going to be studying the nephrons also. I don't want to do that yet. Okay, I don't want to do that yet. Okay, so here is, let's talk about artery supply. Arteries come from what?
Aorta.
The aorta. Okay, now once they reach the kidney, it's called the main renal artery. Now it's inside my kidney and it's going to branch out. Okay, they're called segmental. From segmental, they're going to go to interlobar. What does that tell you?
Into the lobe.
Yeah, because all of these, here's a lobe, 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 here's a lobe.
Interlobe.
Okay, interlobar, they're going to go between the lobes. Okay, arcuates. Arcuates sit at the very top of what? What is this called? The pyramid. Okay, so that's what we look at when we do renal Dopplers. Is that we're looking at the arcuates. It's the hardest exam that I know of. Renal Dopplers. Okay, so. And then it goes into the arterioles. So let's do this. Let me do two. Artery. Arterioles. And then capillaries. Capillaries is where the exchange takes place. And then you have venules. Then what? Then veins. Okay? Artery, arterioles, capillaries. That's where the exchange takes place. Uses up all the oxygen. Then it goes into the venules, and then it goes into the veins. Okay. So what's fixing to happen here? What's fixing to happen here? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
That's fine, don't worry.
So what's going to happen after this? Capillaries. And then what's it going to do?
Venules.
Venules. Then what's it gonna do?
Vein.
Veins. And then what's it gonna
Go back to
do?
the artery.
Heart. Got it? It's a closed system. Okay? So here's a list. And here's the diagram. So the arteries come in, and then you're gonna have the interlobar, then you're gonna have the arcuates, then you're gonna go through Bowman's capsule and get your urine and all of that. And then for the efferent, we're fixing to go over that next whenever we go over the nephron. It's going to join into the nephron. It's going to do its thing, and it's going to go back to the heart. Okay. Sorry.
That's fine.
Any questions on that? Good.
I have, what is the lobes and the pyramids?
Okay. Where the minor calyces are, that's a lobe. Everywhere you have a pyramid, that's a lobe. So there's how many lobes here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lobes. So how many interlobar am I gonna have? 6. Okay?
I mean, the borders between pyramids and lobes.
The arcuates.
Uh,
Oh, there's none. There's none. There's no borders.
okay,
The veins and arteries are the borders.
okay.
Yeah, which is
Huh?
The vein and arteries make the arcuate.
No, the arteries make the arcuate.
The artery.
Make the arcuate. Okay? The arcuates sit at the very top or the base of the pyramids. Okay? This is the base. This is the apex. The apex drains into the minor. The minor drains into the major. The major opens up to the pelvis into the ureter. Okay? So now let's talk about the veins. Okay? You have your main renal vein. What is it draining into?
IVC.
IVC. Okay? Anywhere I have an artery, I have a vein, right? So I have segmental, I have interlobar, I have arcuates, and, oh, I guess I wrote that twice. Okay?
No, not the same.
Oh, interlocular.
Yeah.
Okay? Because everywhere I have an artery, I have a vein. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit about the bladder. The bladder is retroperitoneal or outside. Another name for that is outside or extraperitoneal. I have a bladder. The bladder wall is made up of serosa and muscle and mucosa. Which one is the outer layer? The serosa is the outer layer, the middle layer, the inner layer. So this wall right here is the mucosa. This wall out here is the serosa. This wall right here, muscle. Okay? And we've already talked about the trigon, because the ureters go into the inferior posterior bladder. Okay, so let's talk about some variants. You can have a